going to look at January 2023. So our first group of questions fall under sentence completion. Each sentence has either one or two words missing. Choose from the four options the word or pair of words which best completes the meaning of the sentence. So a key thing in the instructions is looking for a word that best completes it. So it means that there may be options that could possibly fit in your sentence, but the one you have to select is the one that best completes it. So you pause, get your answers, and then we correct. All right, so number one, despite his short temper, his willingness to give of his wealth to help others to succeed led people to call him something. So this thing that people is going to call him, right, the word that we choose needs to match the description that we are talking about. So despite his short temper, even though he's short-tempered, the description we're looking at here is his willingness to give of his wealth. So we know we definitely need a positive description. So we will not have hasty, we will not have foolish, and we will not have old-fashioned. Our answer here will be option C, benevolent, which has to do with kindness. Number two, the journalists were impressed by the something of the statesman whose speeches had a profound something on all who heard him. So our answer here will be A. The journalists were impressed by the eloquence, because eloquence has to do in terms of the way you speak. So that matches there with the speeches, right? Eloquence of the statesman whose speeches had a profound effect on all who heard them. Number three, are you trying to something that all along he knew of the plot to oust the committee? We have option D. Are you trying to insinuate, meaning are you trying to imply that or suggest that all along he knew of the plot to oust the committee? So D there is our answer. Number four, after reviewing the medical file and having many consultations with the patient, the surgeons decided on the best something for the surgery. So the best alteration, procedure, or position, or permission, our definitely best option here will be B, right? Decide on the best procedure for the surgery, because this one here matches the situation we have in terms of the surgery there. And last one, number five, most persons are usually something, those who say one thing and practice another. So this one here is most persons are usually contemptuous of those who say one thing and practice another. All right, so our next set of items fall under vocabulary. We're looking for a word that's nearly opposite in meaning to the underlying word. So you pause, get your answers, and then we correct. All right, number six, the guest speaker's address was devoid of humor and this made persons uneasy. So if you have devoid, it means that it's something like entirely lacking or free from. So you want the opposite of that. If you aren't lacking, you have A, you'll be full of. Number seven, their actions show that they were firm in their rejection of the new law. So rejection, you refuse, decline. So you want the opposite, we'll have option C, acceptance. Number eight, he was eager to share the news with his friends. So if you are eager, you strongly want to do something. So you want the opposite of that, which will be B, you'll be reluctant. Number nine, the president of the Students' Association never mentioned the treasurer's integrity. So integrity has to do with the quality of being honest. So we have option D as our opposite meaning, dishonesty. And number 10, it seems improbable that the country will maintain the curfew for another week. So improbable means that something is not likely to happen. So of course, our opposite will be option A, likely. All right, so next set of items, we have construction shift. So we need to revise each of the following sentences according to the directions that follow. Do not change the meaning of the original sentence. Look at the options A to D for the word or phrase that best suits the revised sentences and mark your choice on your answer sheet. So you pause, get your answers, and then we correct. All right, so number 11, people from crowded nations cannot get over the accessibility of Canada's natural environment in all its magnificence. So our instructions are we need to begin the sentence with, it is impossible for. So our new sentence is no longer starting with people from, we now need to start with, it is impossible for. So after we begin with this, right, we can't go with any of the options there because our sentence wouldn't make sense. So after we start with this new beginning, we need to now continue with how it originally started. So the sentence would flow, it is impossible for people from crowded nations cannot get over the accessibility. So here you'll see an error there in terms of the meaning of your sentence. We would not be able to have this word cannot in the sentence anymore because now we're getting that meaning with the impossible, right? So since we are now starting our sentence with impossible, there's no need for this cannot here. And based on the options we have, we see it's similar to this part of cannot get over. So we know that one of these options need to go in place of here. So if we are taking off the cannot, right, we need our option to give us the same meaning that the people from crowded nations cannot get over, right? And the option that will keep that same meaning will be option B. It is impossible for people from crowded nations to get over. So it's impossible for them to get over is giving you the same thing as they cannot get over. So B is our answer. Number 12, the cricket match ended abruptly when many of spectators stormed the field. We need to begin the sentence with many of spectators stormed. All right, so you'll continue from here with the new sentence you're creating, and you'll say many spectators stormed the field. And then one of the options will go, so the cricket match ended abruptly, but the cricket match ended abruptly, getting the cricket match ended abruptly, or preventing. Our answer here will be option A, because we are keeping that same meaning of, okay, one thing caused the other. The cricket match ended abruptly. Why? Because many spectators stormed the field. So our sentence would read, many spectators stormed the field, so the cricket match ended abruptly, right? Number 13, more is experienced in one day of the life of a learned man than an ignorant man experiences in his whole lifetime. We need to now begin our sentence with a learned man. So whatever we are saying about this learned man here needs to be the same thing they said here. And what they said about him is that more is experienced in one day of the life of a learned man. And what would give us that same meaning is option E. Because what we are saying there is that a learned man experiences more in one day than an ignorant man experiences in his whole lifetime. Number 14, during my time at school, I was involved in extracurricular activities. You now need to begin the sentence with I was involved in. So what were you involved in? Extracurricular activities. So you continue with that. I was involved in extracurricular activities, right? And now we need to choose one of this that will give us the same meaning as this part here. During my time at school. The key word here is during. And the word option that would give you that same meaning there is option B, while I was at school. And last one, 15, if Charlie invites me, I will go to his party. So if Charlie does this, you will do this, right? So you need that to match there. So begin the sentence with, were Charlie to invite me? So were Charlie to invite me, and we need the same meaning that you'll go to his party. So you have option A here, were Charlie to invite me, I would go to his party. All right, so next set of items fall under spelling. So we're looking to see if any of these sentences have a misspelled word, right? So you pause, go through your sentences, get your answers, and then we'll go through. All right, so number 16, can you assure me that the proposition will be accepted by the committee? So a misspelled word will be option C here. So it's not accepted. What we're trying to say is, can you assure me that the proposition will be accepted? All right, so for this one, we need it to be spelled A-C-C-E-P-T-E-D, right? Accepted. Number 17, he played within the perimeter of the picnic area and approached the fence cautiously. So option B here will be our misspelled way. So picnic, we don't have any K there. All we need is P-I-C-N-I-C, right? So that K just needed to come out. Number 18, when the museum purchases paintings, the patrons posted many compliments. So a misspelled word here will be compliments, right? Now, this is a spelling of compliment, but for a different meaning that we are not talking about in the sentence. So you have compliments, you have these two words that sound the same, but they are spelled differently and have different meanings. This compliment with the E here means that things go well together. And in this sentence, that's not what we are saying. We're not saying that the patrons posted many things going well together. No, we're trying to say that the patrons posted many in terms of praises or saying nice things about it. And that compliment is spelled as C-O-M-P-L-I. So we needed compliments with an I. All right. Number 19, after embarrassing his colleague, his conscience bothered him and he eventually apologized. So this is a popular one they like to bring for spelling. Option C here is your misspelled word, right? So it's conscience. How it's spelled is, I like to say, is you would like con and science together. So that's like an easy way to remember it, right? So your error here is by this EI. It needs to be SCIE. So you have the word con, and then you put science, the subject, right? So based on the spelling, it spelled completely different to how it sounds there, but that's just a way to remember in terms of if you ever have problems spelling this word. And last one for spelling, number 20. He thought it best to sacrifice the match and submit to the ridicule of the team for his friend's sake. So here we'll have option D, no error. Sacrifice is good, submit is good, and ridicule is also good. All right, so next we have equivalent sentences. Each sentence in this section is followed by 4 sentences, A, B, C, and D. You choose the one nearest in meaning to the original sentence. So you pause, read your sentences carefully, get your answers, and then we'll go through. All right, so number 21. So engrossed was he in his task that he did not hear his sister enter the room. So our answer here, our equivalent sentence will be option D. He was so preoccupied with what he was doing, giving the same meaning as he was so engrossed in his task that he was unaware of his sister's entry, which is the same as he did not hear his sister enter the room. Number 22. I can't understand why you have done this since you tell me that Mark means a lot to you. Our answer will be A. Since Mark means a lot to you, which is this part we have here, Mark means a lot to you, the reason for your action, why you have done this, is puzzling to me. It's the same as you can't understand. Number 23, recent floods have made the roads impassable, all right? Our answer here will be option C. The roads cannot be used as a result of the floods. Going up to number 24, realizing that her suitcase was left on the bus, the woman desperately tried to attract the conductor's attention, right? Our equivalent sentence will be option B. When the woman became aware that she had left her suitcase, so realizing that her suitcase was left, so that's when she became aware, she tried her best, right? So desperately tried to attract the attention of the bus conductor, right? And last one, number 25, water pollution is a common problem because people thoughtlessly dump their garbage in water courses. So equivalent sentence will be option C. Water pollution takes place because people negligently dump their garbage in water courses. So negligently, thoughtlessly, right? Giving that same meaning there. All right, so next we have a poetry question. So read your poem, go through your questions, and then we discuss. All right, so number 26, what feeling does the poem evoke in the speaker? All right, so what feeling does the speaker have by the information we have in this poem here? You definitely have option A, right? The feeling that's being evoked here is delight. Because when you go through, you can definitely see the pleasure in everything that is being talked about, right? Everything is positive. When we have instead the days when the gold sun shines on the lush green cane fields magnificently. The days when the rain beats like bullets on the roofs and there's no sound but the swish of water in the gullies, right? And then you can see here, but best of all. So it's saying that, okay, all of this is good, but best of all there. So it's definitely a feeling of delight. Number 27, the poem appeals most to the sense of definitely option B, which is sight. All right, because everything here we get an imagery of this nature that's being described and the feeling being evoked from it. Number 28, the we in the poem, right, dislikes the 4 seasons, is now learning about the place, has participated in the harvesting, or sees the mango season as the best time. So when we look where we have like the we in the poem, we have neither summer nor winter. We have instead the days, all right? So in terms of the we, definitely not it, doesn't dislike the 4 seasons. We didn't get anything about it's now learning about the place, right? Because already we could tell it has knowledge about it. Has participated in the harvesting? No, but option D sees the mango season as the best time. But best of all, there are days when the mango and the logwood blossom, right? Number 29, which of the following lines suggests a change of focus in the poem? So A, we have neither summer nor winter. So definitely not line 1, because that's when it's now starting, right? So you can't just start with a change there. No. Option B, when the gold sun shines, when the lush green cane fields. So that's in line 4 here. So that's a no, because we're talking about the same thing. Option C, but best of all, there are the days when the mango this here would be your answer. The key thing here is with the but as well, right? Giving you a hint that, okay, there's going to be a change. So everything here was good, you know, but best of all, there are the days. So that's what's suggesting a change. And last one, number 30, lines 18 to 19. The buttercups have paved the earth with yellow / stars are an example of. So we have lines 18 to 19 here, right? So when the buttercups have paved the earth with yellow stars, so for this one, right, we have the buttercups, right? They have paved the earth. So the flowers there, they can't actually, you know, like pave the earth there. So we have a option D, personification, giving that human quality there. All right, so our next passage has a lot of information. So take your time, read it, go through, and then look at your questions, get your answers, and we'll correct. All right, so number 31, the writer uses secret, line 4, to describe the gardens because. So you go to line 4 to see how it was used. So read a little before it. They heard from the secret gardens the singing of caged birds and heard the splash of cooling water on hot flagstones. Right, so the secret gardens is using that to describe it because A, they were hidden from view. So you have a secret, you're hiding something. So that's definitely our answer. Number 32, the word procession in line 5 indicates that the crowd was going to a funeral, moving about aimlessly, walking together like a mob, or moving in an orderly group. So line 5, so that's here. The procession crossed the blinding plaza and passed in front of the church. So they aren't like moving aimlessly or like a mob. We definitely have option D. They're moving in an orderly group. All right, you get that from the procession. So 33, which of the following statements is not true about the beggars, right? So which one of these did we not state in the passage there? So they knew about human nature, so definitely, right? Because we said, okay, they could have like analyzed them. We have option B, they were inquisitive about people. That's definitely there because they're definitely in terms of looking at persons, being interested, analyzing, seeing if they are rich or poor, right? And option C, they had a good relationship with the doctor. This option C is our answer, right? The statement is not true of the beggars. Because if you look here in the second paragraph where we talked about the doctor and they knew the doctor, they knew his ignorance, his cruelty, right? So definitely they did not have a good relationship with the doctor there, right? 34, in the passage, the expression great experts in financial analysis, lines 8 to 9, means that the beggars were able to add to their arms quickly, had many years of experience in begging, could analyze the financial state of the country, or could immediately determine the rich from the poor. So lines 8 to 9, so let's go to that. So that's the first two sentences here in the second paragraph. And the newcomers, particularly the beggars from the front of the church, who were great experts in financial analysis, looked quickly at Warner's old blue skirt, saw the tears in her shawl, appraised the green ribbon on her braids, read the age of Kino's blanket and the 1,000 washing of his clothes, and set them down as poverty people, right? So after you read all that, you get your hints that it's definitely option D. They could immediately determine rich from poor. Number 35, the description in paragraph 2, lines 8 to 18, conveys to the reader the impression of, we'll have option C here, harshness and poverty. So you had the harshness in terms of their relation with the doctor, then his ignorance, his cruelty, and of course we had the poverty there, right? Because in the financial analysis, we could tell, okay, the rich versus the poor, and of course we have the beggars, all right? So we also have, and set them down as poverty people, right? So harshness and poverty is definitely what the reader is conveying there. Number 36, according to the passage, Kino hesitated a moment in line 26 because he had to calm his anger and hatred, was afraid to approach the doctor, wondered whether he had enough money, or wanted to kill the doctor with his bare hands. All right, so Kino hesitated for a moment. Option A, had to calm his anger and hatred, right? Because he definitely wasn't afraid, he was angry. So you can see here, in terms of line 26, right? So Kino hesitated a moment. The doctor was not of his people. Kino's raised and frightened it too, so that the indigent came humbly to the door,
right? Rage and terror went together. He could kill the doctor more easily than he could talk to him, for all the doctor's race spoke to all of Kino's race as though they were simple animals. So he hesitated for a moment because he had to calm his anger and hatred, right? 37, in the passage, the sentence, the doctor was not of his people, suggests that the doctor, so we have here in lines 26, the doctor was not of his people. And once you read on, you'll see your answer. This doctor was of a race which for nearly 400 years had beaten and starved and robbed and despised Kino's race, right? So it suggests that the doctor came from a background different from Kino's. And last one for this passage, number 38, which of the following is not illustrated in the passage? So you have the kindness of the beggars, the curiosity of the city people, the suffering of Juana and Kino, and the contrast between the rich and the poor. So you definitely had the contrast, we definitely had the suffering of Juana and Kino, and we definitely saw the curiosity of the city people. What we did not see is the kindness of the beggars. All right, so we have our next passage. So you pause, go through, and then we correct. All right, so number 39, according to paragraph 1, which is lines 1 to 5, which of the following results from conflict between family members? So yeah, paragraph 1 here, we have the central problem for most family members is, of course, how to get along with each other. The internal matter is not without its external implications. For only where there are orderly and peaceful families can there be an orderly and peaceful society, right? So which of the following results from conflict between family members? We have option A, disorder in societies. Number 40, according to the passage, all of the following threaten the existence of the family except, right? So which one of these are the passages in terms of not have that it threatens the existence of the family? So let's say we have option A, the high divorce rate in Western societies. We definitely had that here in the last paragraph, in a relatively high incidence of divorce and marital separations. Option B, conflicts between employers and working parents. This one here was not in the passage as threatening the existence of the family. And just to double check the others, option C, problems family members experiencing getting along. We saw that here in paragraph 1. Of course, how to get along with each other is the central problem for most families. And we also had option D, the increase in the number of mothers of school-age children, right? You can see that here in terms of the increase the number of mothers of school-age children. So B was definitely not there. Number 41, the word that is closest in meaning to imperatives in line 9. So let's see how the word was used. Line 9 here, for the most part, economic imperatives, right? So the word that's closest in meaning will be option B. So for the most part, economic demands have left women no choice. Number 42, in paragraph 2, line 6 to 12, the writer compares income in the 1950s to income today to show that, right? So in this paragraph 2, why are we comparing the income in those 2 years? It will be option D, which says a single home, a single income cannot adequately support an average family. So you have by far the most significant has been the increase in the number of mothers of school-age children who have taken outside employment. For the most part, economic imperatives have left women no choice but to work for money, all right? And income insufficient to maintain the lifestyle of an average family took, and then they gave examples there. So answer D. Number 43, the writer suggests in lines 13 to 16 that tensions in mother-child relationships can occur because mothers, so you're looking here, lines 13 to 16, right, are dealing with stress of work, are unable to help children who are under stress, or lack sufficient time to care for children. So let's see which ones we see here. So first one are dealing with stress of work. So we definitely do have that there where we have taken a toll on women in the form of stress, right? So we do have the stress there because we're talking about conflicts between work and family life, are unable to help children who are under stress. That one day we're not seeing anything about that, right? Nothing of children being under stress, right? It's the mother. And then we have option. So option 2 is not there. So we know, okay, none of our answers could have option 2 in it. And then option 3, lack sufficient time to care for children. We definitely do have that here. right? The conflicts between work and family life and scarcity of time to devote to children. So options 1 and 3, right? So our answer here will be answer B. Number 44, the writer's main purpose is to. So based on this entire passage, what is the writer's main purpose, right? To focus on the problems experienced by men? No. Reveal the problems experienced by men, women, and children? No. Highlight some of the internal problems threatening the family? Definitely yes, right? So C is our answer. 45, couples feel they must go their separate ways in line 23 because of. So you go to lines 23, so that will be here. So the fact that so many couples feel they must go their separate ways illustrates just how difficult it is for people to live together satisfactorily at the best of times, right? So we have high divorce rates and inability to live harmoniously. This will be our answer, right? This is for people to live satisfactorily. And last one, number 46, the tone of the passage may best be described as mocking, indignant, analytical, or complaining. Definitely option C, analytical, because we are analyzing in terms of the internal problems threatening the family. All right, so our next passage is here. So pause, read, get your answers, and then we correct. All right, so number 47, I just can't take it anymore. Line 1 implies that the writer is crying, arguing, shouting, or frustrated. So let's see. Dear editor, I just can't take it anymore. I just can't take the noise forced on me by a restaurant and bar located across the street. The noise is unbearable and I cannot concentrate. Right? So it definitely implies that the writer is option D, frustrated. Yeah? Number 48, the sentence, I work hard and every report so far indicates that I am an above average student, suggests that the writer is boastful, pleading, about to fail her examinations, or wants to sustain this performance. So this is in line 5, so that's here. So always read around your line so you can start from the sentence before. I'm attending a reputable girls' school and I want to make good grades to get into the CAPE class. I work hard on every report so far indicates that I am an above average student, right? So what it suggests is that she wants to maintain this performance. 49, the effect that is created by the repetition of I in the first paragraph can best be described as highlighting the writer's distress, arguments, impression, or misunderstandings. So you have the repetition of I just can't take it anymore. I just can't take the noise, right? I cannot concentrate. I am writing CXC. I must pass on my subjects I'm attending. Right? So what this is highlighting is her distress, right? All her frustrations in terms of the music being too loud that she can't study. Which of the following, number 50, which of the following language devices does the writer use most in paragraph 2 to explain her plight, right? So which one are we seeing the most? Definitely option D, which is rhetorical questions, right? So you have, okay, can you imagine having to struggle with a math problem with thunderous noise? Can you imagine speaking to classmates? Can you imagine stuffing cotton in your ears? Can you imagine trying to explain to your teacher, right? So definitely rhetorical questions is prevalent. Number 51, which of the following words best conveys the emotion that the writer is seeking to arouse in the reader? So what emotion does she want you to arouse there when you are reading this passage, right? Is it love, anger, horror, or empathy? Definitely option D, which is empathy, right? What the writer wants is for you to empathize, right? To put yourself in the shoes and to imagine what she's going through, right? So that's what our answer is. 52, lines 11 to 12, thunderous noise bombarding your eardrums are an example of, right? So looking for literary device. So lines 11 to 12, so we're looking here. Can you imagine having to struggle with a math problem with thunderous noise bombarding your eardrums and everything in the house jumping up and down as if the place is haunted? Right? So this one here definitely is not irony and it's definitely not alliteration. This question could be tricky sometimes because you can see both your hyperbole and your personification, right? Personification could be in the part where the house is jumping up and down, right? If you look at the question, we're focusing and you have the beginning there, thunderous noise bombarding your eardrums. right? So what this will be more stronger here will be your option B, hyperbole, right? Because he's exaggerating in terms of the effect of this noise there. Thunderous noise bombarding your eardrums, which is just the music being too loud. Number 53, what effect does the writer achieve when she says, can you imagine my mother and her 16-year-old daughter going to this place in the midst of riotous drinking? Nice 19 to 20. So what effect does the writer achieve? Is it criticism for the action going to a bar? Definitely not. Surprise that the woman should hesitate to go to a bar? No. Admiration from the reader for the woman's courage? Yes. Right? Option C would be our answer. Because definitely not scorn for the woman's behavior. No. And last one, number 54, the last sentence of the passage expresses the view that. So the last sentence, so you can read the last paragraph, right? Under the guise of carnival, they will continue their merciless onslaught. From Carnival Friday night right up until Ash Wednesday morning, they will continue nonstop. There will be total madness, right? So it expresses the view that option B, the noise will become worse. All right, and last thing we have is our advertisement. So you pause to read and get your answers, and then we correct. All right, so number 55, according to the information provided in the advertisement, the main theme of the symposium is. So what is the symposium about? Our topic is adolescent health, the challenges. So C is our answer, adolescent health. Number 56, which of the following groups is not a sponsor of the symposium? So if you look here to see our sponsors, so option A, Ministry of Youth, they are there. Option B, Ministry of Health. When we look, we do not see the Ministry of Health there. So this here is not a sponsor. So we just double check with the others. Conference of Churches, they are there. And National Council of Drug Abuse, that's there, right? 57, which of the following words best replace symposium in the advertisement? So a National Youth Symposium, we have option B, National Youth Conference, all right? 58, all of the following groups are specifically invited to attend the symposium except. So which one of these was not there in terms of who could attend? So we have here, who should attend? So option A, youth groups, we have there interested members, members of youth groups. So youth groups are there. B, members of the public. We do have that, interested members of the public. Parents of young people. When we look, okay, we see nothing about parents of young people. So this here is our answer. Because these definitely there, doctors, nurses, they are healthcare professionals, right? So C is our answer. Number 59, how can those who want to participate register for the event? Right, so in terms of how to attend, we need to contact Yvonne Dalton at the Ministry of Youth. I have a phone number there for registration forms and other information. And we could also complete the registration form and return it to the Ministry of Youth. So let's see, option A, contact Yvonne Dalton. So yes, she's there, and call the Ministry of Education. This was not how we need to attend. Nothing to do with the Ministry of Education as well as the Ministry of Health. So A, C, and D is definitely not our answer. Our answer is option B. Call the Ministry of Youth and speak to Yvonne Dalton, because that's what it has here. And last one, number 60, the main address is to be delivered by. So who's delivering the main address? So here we have sessions led by experts, right? So you have different set of persons there. The Professor Nancy, the C. Smith Brown, and the Leonard Akanza, right? So that's options B to D there. But that's not the main address, right? Separately, the main address here, feature address by the most conscious youth of the year, Uguala Tudo. So that would give you option